Hey William, I watched your video. I wanted to first say thank you for taking the time to watch the 25 or so minutes of me rambling on about my life. The fact that you actually sat through the entire thing is impressive, so your willpower needs to be recognized. So I salute you and your ability to sit through meandering, pointless babble. So you should definitely pat yourself on the back for that amazing feat. But I did want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video and to talk to me just about the general stuff that I was talking about, as well as letting me into your life and telling me a little bit about yourself. I really don't know much about a lot of the people that are on Vloggerheads or on YouTube, for that matter. I really I have general interactions with a lot of people, and we talk about this and that, but I never really get a chance to get to know the people that are on the site. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to make this video and talk to me about just your world in general and your thoughts on what I had to say. I just wanted to sort of clarify a few things, because I know that at face value, the sentences that I chose to use carry a specific weight. When I say that I'm socially uncomfortable, I don't mean that in the context of actual social phobia, where I get into a group of people and I just freeze up. I'm just really not comfortable talking to people that I don't know, simply because of the fact that for me, small talk is not something I'm good at, and a majority of interaction is small talk. Not to say that I can't have small talk kind of conversations. I just really I'm not very good at them. There's only so much you can say, and then there's a lot of empty space. And it's that empty space that, in my mind, is what causes difficulty in establishing relationships. If people are just sort of sitting there breathing and looking at their phone or fiddling with their fingers or staring at the floor, then you're not really having a conversation or an interaction. You're just sort of at a bus stop. And I've always associated small talk with bus stop conversation, because that's exactly what it comes down to. You're just sort of filling the space between point A and point B. And there's nothing really engaging in that, at least for me. I've been in plenty of situations where I had to talk to people I didn't know, and when it comes to things like work, in a work environment, then it's just a matter of, well, we're all there for the same reason, and that in itself can be the nudge needed to have the conversations that you're going to have. But as you astutely recognize, I don't drink, and I've had other people say, well, you can go to a bar and you don't have to drink. You can get a soda, or you can get a cup of tea or something. But the reason why I don't do that, the reason why I don't go to a bar or a club and not partake of the normal libations is because of the fact that when people go to a bar, when people go to a club, when people go to these locations, these places, they're going there to meet like-minded people that enjoy going to bars and clubs and other locations. That they're there to meet people with similar interests. You go to a bar when you want to meet people that like to go to bars. You go to a club when you want to meet people that like to go to clubs. I don't like to do either of those things. I don't get anything out of it. I get really uncomfortable because of the fact that I'm surrounded by people that are not, I have the main unifying point I don't share. I don't go to a bar, and I don't like going to a bar, so it's like, well, why am I there? What is the purpose of me being there? In my mind, it's starting the relationship off on a bad foot. Because let's say, for example, I go to a bar and I get myself a glass of water, orange juice or something, and I meet people and I start talking to them, and then they're going to want to meet again in the bar, because that's it. Or they want to, or let's say they don't want to go to that bar, they want to go to a different bar. It's always going to have that one thing that I just don't want to do. And so therefore I'm putting myself consistently in an environment that I'm uncomfortable in, because I don't like being there. And that is what I have to do to maintain my part of this relationship. I can't do that. I understand that relationships require sacrifice, but this is not the kind of thing that I would see as a sacrifice so much as an irritant. You know, constantly going someplace where there are people that are loud and it's noisy and people are boisterous and unnecessarily obnoxious. You know, it's not my thing. So that's one of the reasons why I don't ever go to you know, a bar or a club. I also have some other reasons why I don't go that are a little bit more psychological. You know, I'm not as much as I can deal with confrontation when it comes to you know, arguments, getting into disagreements, being upfront and direct about opinions. In my experiences, in the times that I have gone to clubs and I have gone to bars and I have gone to those kind of places, there's always the lingering potential for violence that I'm not comfortable with. And I don't want to have that be a reality. I mean, I understand that in reality there's a potential for violence no matter where you go. But the percentage of the potential is much less when you're walking down the street to go to the local grocery store, or going to a library, or going to a museum, than it is when you go to a place where alcohol is the primary component of intake. So, yeah, no, not my thing. But that's neither here nor there. It's just, you know, I wanted to touch on that because, you know, that was one of the things you had said about not being able to, you know, to give me a suggestion or advice upon. And I really do appreciate the fact that you care enough to try. So thank you for that. I'm just not really a people person, and I think that in itself is one of the big reasons why I have a problem with small talk. You know, it's rare for me to find people that I can tolerate, and it's that intolerance, that natural inclination to dislike just the average person, that sort of eliminates a lot of the opportunities and chances that I have for interacting and being with people, you know. I just have a really low tolerance for the just like you said, the mundane. You know, it's not that I don't want to know about somebody's life. It's not that I don't want to talk about their kids in college. It's not that I don't actually care what kind of weather we're having. But that's not the stuff that gets me. It's the let's talk about what was on MTV yesterday. Did you hear what Miley Cyrus was doing when she went? I don't give a shit about that. A lot of the pop culture out there is stuff that I just don't care about, and that in itself is a big deterrent for me. Is that I don't have that connection to the generality. You know, I don't have that connection. I don't have that connection to I don't even think generality is a word. I don't have that connection to the basic unifying facts of being a person with access to the general culture. I don't know. I don't blame other people for my predicament, you know. I don't sit here and say, oh, well, life would be so much better, but all these other people suck. I know that this is my fault. I know that it's my intolerance. I know that it's my inability to deal with just what I consider vulgar. And, you know, if I had lower standards, then I'd have a better life. If I was willing to deal with more stupidity, I'd have a more fulfilled social card. I've always been an idealist. You know, I've always been somebody that wants something better. And I mean that I think I mean that in more of an esoteric way. You know, I'm not driven by my career. If it pays the bills, I'll do it. You know, if it's something that I have the capacity to do and it'll pay the bills, then I'll do whatever that is. You know, I don't have this, well, by the time I'm 40, I need to be the CEO of a business, or I have to make my first $100 million by the time I'm 50. You know, I don't have that drive. I don't find value in it. And that fact alone is a big part of why my life is the way it is, you know. Just because of the fact that I don't have value in the same things that a lot of other people do. It's really, it's not more involved than that. It's not more complicated than that. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, except to say that, you know, in life, I feel that there's more to life than life. If that makes any sense whatsoever. You know, I know that a majority of my perspective is based on what I would consider brain damage. You know, I think that I'm delusional in a lot of the things that I want out of life or what I feel about life. And I think after years and years of living that way, of living with the perspective of this intangible sense of something bigger, something greater than the world that we live in, I've gotten used to not connecting with people. I've gotten used to being withdrawn or being separated. And so I live my life alone. I live my life as an individual that has no real connection except for the few individuals that I do find that I feel there's a connection with, or I feel that there's a kinship with. And the problem is, as I said in my last video, is that a majority of those people that I share that kinship with don't live near me. Just a few years ago, 10 years ago, I'll definitely say 10 years ago, because I can guarantee it was 10 years ago, because then I would have been 29. I had a social circle, if you will. I had people that I interacted with regularly. A lot of those people were associating because of a specific shared... Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This guy almost fucking just cut me off. I had a shared interest with these people. I had something that was in common between us, and it was something I don't really have that much interest in anymore. But over the years, I didn't pursue those relationships because a majority of them were superficial. A majority of those relationships were people that I interacted with because of this shared interest. And I know that sounds weird. I mean, if you have something that you're interested in and other people share that interest, that's the basis for establishing friendships. Problem is that that's as far as our interaction went, was that shared interest. That singular thing that we both enjoyed or we both partook of. The rest of their lives, the rest of their perspectives, I diverged extremely from, you know. I don't really want to get into what that stuff was, but let's just say that I'll make it easy for you. My moral compass and their moral compass were pointing in different directions. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, it was only 10 years ago, man. You know, I've been in California. I got here at the end of '95. So 95 to 2005, 2005 to so next year I'll have been in California for 20 years. And that will be, is that right? Yeah. That will be the longest I ever lived in one place. When I lived in Philly, I got there when I was 3. And from the time I was 3 until the time I was 21, I lived in Philadelphia, I lived in Upper Darby, I lived in Media, I lived in the Philadelphia area. Since I've been in California, I've lived in Belmont, I've lived in Redwood City, I lived in San Jose, I lived in a couple places, but the peninsula, the Bay Area, I mean, it's basically the same thing, you know. So it's interesting that that I'll have been here as long as I have, and that my world has changed so much. Getting on a slightly different thing. I'm going off topic here. Well, off topic of what I was previously talking about. I think it's interesting that you've lived in the same place your entire life. You know, that you lived in one house, and you've been there since you were a baby. I couldn't imagine that. You know, I couldn't imagine living in one place for so long and having it be my home. I don't really have a sense of what home is. I have where I live. I have where I sleep. You know, I have where my clothes are at this moment, but I don't really have a sense of home, because I have lived in a lot of places. I've moved, in my lifetime, I have moved probably about 60 times in my lifetime. I've probably moved that much. And any of the people that I had friends with when I was a kid, gone. Either dead, or they just don't talk to me anymore. I've lost contact with the people that I established that part of my life with. So yeah, so that's impressive that you're in the same place. And as far as the mundane aspects of different lives, and how the only thing that changes is the different types of the different types of the different colors of mundane that you deal with. Like, for example, when you were talking about your life, where, you know, you get up and you take a bath, and then you go and you do your laundry, and then, you know, you go and you do your job, and you come home and you chill out for a little bit, and then you go to bed and do it over again. You have a pattern to what you do, you know. And being a taxi driver, you have the opportunity to interact with people, different people, all the time, which I think is pretty cool. And you get to drive around. It's one of the things I actually like about my job, is that I'm constantly driving places. Not that I like to drive. I'm not a driving enthusiast. I guess I just like the idea of going somewhere else, not being stuck in one location. So that's kind of cool. Even though I did always want a job in a cubicle, and since I've had jobs in cubicles, what can I say? They're not the greatest thing in the world. But getting back to what I was the point I was trying to make is that. Yes, we all have levels of the mundane in our life. We all have levels of the same, and you know, how we break it up is what makes us different. You know, how what those things that fill in those gaps between the consistent similarities is what makes our lives different. And unlike you, I have a little bit more free time to myself, because I don't take care of my house like you do. My house is a mess. Thing is, I just don't care, you know? Is there a place for me to sleep? Cool. Can I type on my computer? Cool. Is there toilet paper in the bathroom? Cool. You know, the rest of it all, is my house neat? Oh, hell no. My house is a disaster area, you know? I don't have enough motivation or care to bother trying to change it, make it different, make it better. It's just not something that I find value in. And I should be healthier. I should be, you know, more focused on taking care of myself. I guess it's part of my self-destructive nature. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going on 20 minutes, like you, sir. And this long, pointless, babbling pointlessness was just me trying to say thank you for taking the time to watch the video and talking to me and connecting on some level. I appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoy your concert when you go to it, and that life treats you well, my friend, because you deserve it. You're a good man, and I appreciate the fact that you took the time to talk to little old me. Alright, well, I'm going to go now, because I'm just about getting to where I was going. But I do indeed thank you for just being you, I guess. Alright, sir. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.